What's up guys, Luke here with Luke's Points and Miles, and I do apologize. It's been a while since I did a cool maximum value redemption video. And just a reminder that channel elite members will have access to this video prior to it going out to the public. If you are interested in becoming a channel elite member, you can click that join button below the screen, and for just $2.99 a month, you can get access to this series early. And as always, you will have a priority response in the comment section. I plan to get back into the redemption game and have a lot more videos like this in different parts of the world coming very soon. Let's get straight to the point here. I do a solo or kinda solo trip every year, and what I mean by that is the family stays home. It's actually a really cool thing me and my wife do, not together. Last year she went to Key West in the middle of this Ohio winter and really had a blast not worrying about taking care of everyone. So my travel schedule is booked for most of this year. And if you remember last January, I took my dad down to Panama. Well, I loved it down there, and I've been really curious about all the different history and cultures in South America since then. So I started planning a trip to Colombia. Even though Colombia seemed like it would be super fun, it didn't seem like a cool place for a married man to go solo. So I felt like it would be best to find some type of alternative. As you saw in the thumbnail, I settled on Lima, Peru. It doesn't look like the vloggers have destroyed Peru just yet, so I'm gonna head down there and see what's up. Now you guys know this channel is not a history channel and it's not a geography channel either, but Peru, for those of you not familiar, think of great food, Incan culture, Machu Picchu, and all that Spanish influence. So much crazy history with the conquistadors, like Francisco Pizarro. Sorry, I am a history nerd, so there's just so much there. The capital city of Peru is Lima, and Lima is pretty huge, with over 11 million people there. It's a big city, and that's all we're gonna be talking about. You guys want the redemption. Okay, so for me, I've talked about this before. I need to find a flight to a larger airport, and I prefer that larger airport be one that I can get to quickly and cheaply. For this example, I'm going to use Atlanta, and I'll touch on that later, why I felt Atlanta was better for me than Miami. So now we go to the Googles. When we look at this screen, we can see that Atlanta does indeed have direct flights to Lima, Peru, and it's on a couple different carriers that I am familiar with. It looks like Delta flies there, and also LATAM Air, which if you don't know, that stands for Latin America. Conventional thinking is to check the Delta flights, and let me just simplify this. Delta flights, which are only $6, are quite a bit more points for business class, and this is like a 7-hour flight, so your Uncle Luke is not going to be sitting in the back, especially since I only need one ticket. So I'm going to check the LATAM flights. So I'm finding the LATAM flights booked through their site can be fairly expensive as well, with prices being almost 200,000 points, and you guys know we're not doing that. So I also remember that Alaska Air partners with LATAM. And no, I really don't have any idea why, but Alaska miles are killer on partner flights, and it turns out on Alaska's site, they have the exact same flight on LATAM Airlines for 35,000 Alaskan miles. If you guys remember earlier this year, I grabbed the Bank of America Alaska Air business card, and that had a 75,000 mile bonus with really no plan on how to use those points. Well, this seems like a good of time as any. So real easy guys. I booked two one-way flights, both were 35,000 Alaska miles. First flight was $34 and the second was $62. So before we break down the numbers, let's talk a little bit about LATAM because I have never flown them. And at first I was just a little skeptical. LATAM Airlines is a Chilean multinational airline, and I didn't know that. They have a few hubs in Lima, Colombia, and Brazil, and they have around 149 aircraft flying to 152 destinations. I'll put up a few pictures of what their business class looks like, and I've seen some reviews, and while I don't think it's going to rank up there with the best of the best, and it's likely not going to knock your Aunt Connie's socks off, it does look like it should be a great experience. So let me go over my thinking on this redemption. I wanted a business class seat and I wanted a direct flight. not including the positioning flight. I really wanted it the cheapest way possible, cash-wise, and I wanted to connect in an airport I was comfortable with. I know Atlanta has a new, larger Centurion lounge, and I know in the international terminal, they have a priority pass lounge I can use as a last resort. Another factor was this. I've re-entered the United States twice now through Miami, and I didn't really enjoy the process. Global entry is a godsend, but the way they do their business in Miami is when I have to re-enter the airport security, there is no pre-check, and well, it just takes a really long time. Will Atlanta be any better? Guys, I don't know, but I'll give them a shot and see. Guys, if you want to apply for cards that give you lounge access or credits for TSA pre-check or global entry, then check out my super cool card link in the description below. Using that link does support the channel and it allows me to bring you this kind of content. These videos don't do well overall, but the folks that do like them, they seem to really like them. Let's talk quickly about this positioning flight. Has to be quick, easy, and cheap, right? Okay, so my airport, much like most airports, does fly direct to Atlanta and often. So to get to Atlanta, the first thing I always search for is Virgin Atlantic. I found the flight I wanted for just 7,500 Virgin miles, and I have a surplus of Virgin miles. I don't mess around with these international flights, so I made sure I had a kinda long layover coming back in and finding a flight from Atlanta back home, which is Columbus, Ohio. Virgin had no flights. So now what do? Pause the video and comment below. Chase Portal on Delta? Unpause it. Nope. I checked Air France, KLM, and boom. They had the exact flight I needed, but they only had first class. So seriously, I'm not gonna lie. If I'm going to be flying all day, and this is the end of the day, and if I know me, I'm gonna be really ready to get home. So yes, I booked this last leg in first class, a hour-and-a-half flight in first class. Don't judge me. It was 20,000 flying blue miles, and at the time I booked it, Chase had a 25% bonus, so I think it's okay to take advantage of sitting in the front. So I'm not going to add up all the prices of the positioning flights, even though I'm sure I got decent value there. Let's look at the main flight here and I'll calculate it as a round trip. Cash price for this flight would have actually been fairly cheap as far as international business flights go at $3,847. I do think that is lower than a lot of these redemptions, but I do have to admit this. Your Uncle Luke is not paying that to fly anywhere. Sorry, just not in my budget, but I will take advantage of the power of points and miles. Let's take the cash price of $3,847 minus the fees we paid, which was a total of $96. Let's take that $3,751 total and divide that by 70,000 Alaska Air miles, and we come up with a value of 5.35. That is not too bad if you ask me. And I do have to add that those miles were earned in one transaction, property taxes, and that's it. So a 2-minute application plus a 1-minute transaction, and it looks like they only charged me $25 for the annual fee. All that turned into a business class flight to Lima, Peru. Now guys, do you have to get this kind of cent per point all the time? Heck no. Go ahead and get your bottom of the barrel values. As long as you're having fun and you're using your points how you want, it's all good. But if you are going to put the time into this game, why not learn expert mode and get some world-class experiences? You didn't click on this video because you wanted to see how to use a US bank cash card, did you? You didn't click on this video because you wanted to find out how to get average or below average value for your redemption, did you? Either way, guys, if you are interested in new cards, take a look at my super cool card link in the description below. And if you want to support the channel by becoming a channel member, click on that join button below. If you have stayed around all the way to the end, I thank you and I appreciate every single view.